Attention Poundcast listeners, the name of the Poundcast is changing, okay? The podcast is not ending. Obviously, the podcast is evolved over the years, or maybe evolved is not the right word, but changed over the years. And over the last 9 months or so, it's changed even more. And, I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing the last 9 months, but we are changing the name to the Brent Weinbach Podcast. And that change won't happen until the June 27th, but I wanted to give you a heads up ahead of time. You can, I guess, get subscribed to the YouTube channel, which is Brent Weinbach Podcast. And you can, I don't know if there's a feed yet for the audio only, but there will be. So you can look for it on wherever you get your podcasts. And that's it. I just wanted to mention that the name is changing to the Brent Weinbach Podcast. Again, this doesn't mean that that this podcast is ending. It's definitely not. It's continuing. We're just changing the name. And that's it. Just wanted to mention that up top. And now let's go hear about some snacks that you can get and be interested in. This episode of the Poundcast is in part brought to you by Louisville Vegan Jerky Company. They make Louisville Vegan Jerky. That's right. It's meatless, soy-based jerky, and you can find them at lvjco.com. And they have lots of different flavors you can choose from, such as buffalo hot wing, pepperoni pizza, smoky Carolina barbecue, and they have limited edition small batch flavors such as Nashville hot chicken, honey glazed ham, and Texas mesquite barbecue. That's right. Texas mesquite barbecue is back. This stuff is reminiscent of the more classic, chewy, tougher kind of jerky. So if you order on the website and use the code word Poundcast, you get 20% off your order. Now, this stuff is bagged in the United States. It has a shelf life of 9 months, and you don't have to order it online. If you want to order it in person at stores, you can find it at places like Whole Foods and Sprouts. And just check out their website, lvjco.com. Once again, use the code word Poundcast and get 20% off your order. Talking on the Poundcast. Welcome to the Poundcast. My name is Brent Weinbach. Jack Birch is here. And our guest on this episode is sound engineer, producer Aaron Brungardt.
Hey, everybody!
And you probably know, hello. You probably recognize his voice, but I don't think he's ever been seen before, and anywhere ever. I mean, even his wife doesn't even know what he looks like until now. Until this episode comes out.
It's for the best.
And, well, hey, you know what? I love that we're finally getting to unmask Aaron Brungardt on the Poundcast. It makes this a really special episode.
We should have saved it for Unzipped.
That's true. We could have unzipped your face. We could have had your face zipped up like a GIMP. A GIMP mask on your face and then unzipped it for Unzipped. That would have been kind of neat. But, yeah, I mean, this is the second to last episode with the Poundcast being this name. I thought we had to get Aaron Brungardt, who is kind of a fixture on the Poundcast in a way. I mean, he does. Aaron Brungardt engineers all things comedy podcasts that are in studio.
In studio, yeah.
And so, you might have heard us thanking Aaron Brungardt at the end of the episode. And I thought, we got to just do an episode where he's the guest, and I got to do it. I felt like while we're still using the name of the Poundcast, we should get him in here before it's all over,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
it's
also
not
doing
really
it
over, by the way.
I'm also in the booth, so you can see kind of what it looks like in there.
Right. That's cool. So if you're watching
this, the junk on my shelves.
If you're watching this on YouTube, he is in the booth. And, he used to not have a booth.
That's true.
Aaron was in the, we were all in the same room at one point and where we could hear him easily. And then the booth happened. and then he was in his own little zone.
Mm-hmm. You used to be able to hear me fall asleep in your ears.
We weren't able to hear any of this. I missed the snoring. I wanted to hear those snores.
Or my dog snoring, which was always fun.
Oh yeah, well that too. Oh yeah, actually that's true. Actually, your dog actually did snore sometimes.
R.I.P.
Oh, no longer with you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Unfortunately.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. But also, this is kind of momentous. Well, no, this isn't totally momentous, but this is kind of a. Oh, sorry. I missed that when you. Yeah, sorry.
I was holding up.
Sorry for your loss. Yeah, sorry for your loss. It's also kind of interesting because we're getting Aaron Brungardt and Jack Birch, who are the two sort of behind the scenes people, kind of in the same episode and interacting with each other. This is kind of like it's like the time code or time cop, or something like that, where you're not supposed to touch.
Can't occupy the same space.
Yeah, it can't be in the same space. Yeah. Something's might happen, but I guess since we're doing this on Zoom, it's maybe a little safer.
Yeah.
But so yeah, Aaron. I mean, the Poundcast isn't being recorded at the All Things Comedy Studios anymore. What has it been like since all these podcasts left the studio? I mean, they're still probably with the network, but
we've added a lot of new shows. We've done a lot of pilots of new shows. We're just trying some new things. Everybody's got to evolve. We got a new regime in charge at ATC, so we're just trying out some new stuff with some new folks, some fresh faces.
Does it feel kind of? Do you miss the way things were, or do you like what's going on?
I like what's going on, but of course, I worked with you guys and with a lot of the other shows for like 5 years, so it's tough to not see people you're used to seeing every week and laughing with and interacting with. So and it's weird. It's been an adjustment, but
Does it feel quiet? Because last time I was over there, I feel like there were some things being moved around or something. There were some pictures taken off the wall and stuff, and it seemed like the place was kind of getting emptied out a bit.
Yeah. The building, the company that owns the building went out of business, so that was a big part of it. So essentially, half the occupants of the building were gone.
So not only were
6 months after we moved in,
some of the hosts of the podcast kind of clearing out, but also it's just the decorations and stuff, and it just felt like you're visually seeing it being emptied out.
I mean, as people cleared their offices or whatever and finished the projects they were working on, they would take the wall art with them. The Muppets painting.
The Muppet print is not there. That was something I definitely noticed.
I scored a sweet Aliens poster. Aliens is one of my favorite movies, and somebody had it in their office, and then it was out in the middle of nowhere. And they're like, it's been months. We've told him to come get it. He hasn't. So I'm like,
it's it framed?
Yeah.
It's a framed Aliens poster.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed when I was at the studio, because if people don't know, it's All Things Comedy is Bill Burr's company, right?
Yeah.
And all the posters on the wall were of other bald comedians. Just something I noticed.
Well, his Ian Edwards, Paul Verzi, they just all happen to be bald.
Bald just seems in right now. I mean, I remember watching that TV show Breaking Bad, and I was thinking,
there.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, are you really?
Yeah, I am really.
Oh man, yeah.
Might get the patch out and unzipped.
Yeah. Breaking Bad, I kind of thought this show should be called Breaking Bald. Every single character was bald on it. It was just, Walter White was bald, Mike was bald.
Jesse wasn't, and then he did shave his head. Yeah,
Jesse basically became basically bald, and then there was the doctor in it, Walter White's doctor. He was bald, and then there was other bald people too. I'm trying to remember who.
Bill was not bald on the show, but has
That's
gone bald.
That's true. Well, he was inspired. He was inspired by Breaking Bald.
Yeah.
As a Breaking Bald alumni, he felt, I need to break bald.
His partner on the show, Lavelle Crawford, was bald.
Mm-hmm.
The giant black guy.
And there was some other bald. There was some other bald. There were a lot of comedians on the show, but there was a lot of bald people. Who was Tuco bald? No, Hector. Yeah. Oh no, Hector Salamanca was bald too.
Yeah. Yep.
And
we lost that actor.
Oh, Mark Margolis.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting actor. Played a lot of Latino characters in movies, and was not Latino.
No,
but I think that's cool. I like that. I think, Scarface. He was in Scarface. I think it's cool when people
ambiguous guy
play, but also can play just different characters and stuff. I think that's a cool thing.
Well, the greatest example of that is Cliff Curtis, who is a Maori from New Zealand. Playing in Training Day, he's a Latino gangster. In what's the movie? Arnold Schwarzenegger, Collateral Damage. He's playing an Arab terrorist. It's like weirdly, yeah.
Well, and actually, here's another one in your favorite movie, Aliens.
Yeah, Jeanette Goldstein playing a Latino female,
and that woman, that character, I think was a big kind of icon in a way for Latino culture, I think, right? That's kind of cool, I think, in a way. I think it's kind of cool. There was now
she owns a bra store in Burbank. So.
Oh, really? Does she?
Jeanette's Bras, yeah.
Oh, so you kind of follow all the doings of all the
she mentions it on some of the behind the scenes documentaries, but I also have passed it on the way to work a lot. And she's got a very interesting spelling her name. So
it's really interesting how tough she is in that movie. She's just this real tough broad.
Yeah.
And then, she's in Terminator 2 as the kind of foster parent or whatever of John Connor. Very different look in that movie too.
Yeah.
She kind of really did some morphing,
Yeah, she's in Lethal Weapon 2. She's in a bunch of stuff.
What do you like about? Do you like Aliens?
She's one of the in Titanic. She's the mom with the kids who's like Irish, who stays on the boat, I think, and drowns.
Yeah. Cameron kind of kept her in the mix for a while, right?
Yeah, he's got a crew. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like Aliens more than Alien?
Yes.
Or is it your favorite Alien movie, I guess?
Yeah. Alien is really good, but Aliens is, I think, superior.
And why do you like Aliens more than Alien and the other Alien movies?
It's such an action thrill ride. And literally the James Horner score is amazing and really keeps your heart pumping the whole time. The finale is amazing with the Queen alien. You got my boy Bill Paxton in there, spouting some of the best lines in movie history.
Like Game Over?
Game over, man. Game over. Why don't you put her in charge? The little girl survived on her own.
There's a really funny line. What am I trying to remember in there? What's that really funny line in Aliens? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's probably the funniest line.
I mean,
it might be between Joyce's character and him.
Jeanette Goldstein's character?
Or Jeanette. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Where he asks, have you ever been mistaken for a man? And she goes, have you? That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I think maybe that's the line. I don't know. Yeah.
It says something about illegal aliens, and they're like, we brought one with us or something. I don't know.
No, there was something. Maybe it was I don't know. I forgot what it was. But anyway, you got Paul Reiser in there too. You know,
playing such a worm. But he's so good. He's so good at it. Yeah. Michael Biehn. The whole crew. It's amazing.
And you like it more than the first one because the pacing is better. You like the pacing more, or at least, or something like that.
I'm just more into action than I am into horror.
Yeah, okay. And this is more of an action movie.
It just moves. If you, especially the director's cut, you watch the director's cut.
Oh, really?
2.5 hours, but you could sit through it and not even feel it.
Is the director's cut's better?
Yeah. Yeah.
Into the newer ones.
Romulus was okay. I'm interested to see the TV show that's coming.
Yeah. I just recently watched all of them because of watched all of them for the first time because the new ones were coming out. I thought I'd get into it. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So you just caught up. You saw everything.
Yeah, just caught up. Yeah.
What's your favorite Alien
as well? I like the first one. I think the first
classic.
Cool.
It's a classic.
It's great.
classic scenes. I mean, the dinner table scene is, that's just an iconic scene, and all that stuff is disturbing. It's to see it all for the first, that's the first time you're seeing all this disturbing stuff. I mean, these things getting on your head and just being there on your head, disturbing.
But then just imagine there's a whole shitload of them.
Right. Well, but there is
aliens.
something. Right. But there is something to be said about there just being one, and it's this one threat. And in some ways, it makes it okay. You've got a ton of them in Aliens, but in a way, it's sort of it makes it seem. Well, I don't know. In a way, it's not as threatening in a way because there's so many of them, we're just gonna die. All right, whatever. But if there's one of them, then I don't know. There's something. I don't know. They both have their. They both have.
Well, that's the thing is like the first movies, they're cargo pilots. They're space truckers, is what they call them.
Oh yeah, right. They're not fighters. They're not soldiers.
They're not soldiers, and so it takes all of them out except for Ripley. And then Aliens, it's a team of Marines,
right? Whose
ship even looks like a gun.
By the way, no disrespect. No disrespect to calling Marine soldiers there. No, people do not like. The military does not like that when you mess up their whatever their.
We got big military viewership.
Yeah.
I just if I went to Okinawa, entertain the troops, and if you said soldier to any of them, they were pissed. They were said, "Do not call me soldier. Now you get down and give me 20."
You get waterboarded.
And then I said, "What? 20 what?" And they say $20. I want $20 right now. So I'd get down. You'd have to get down on your knees and give them the $20, and you insert it into the fly of their pants or whatever they'd unzipped. They said, "Let me unzip first. Now get down." All right, take that 20 out. I'm unzipped. Put it in. I put it in. They zipped up. Good. Now I feel like a real stripper. They like to feel like strippers. Marines do.
The tail hook maneuver.
That's So those are Marines and they're battling it out.
But even they get completely wasted by these aliens. I mean, obviously there's a shit ton of them, but
right, there's a lot of them. And are you you're a movie guy because we talked about we would talk about movies a lot, and you play the box office game. I play the box office game.
I haven't played it since you stopped coming to the studio.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't have anybody to
I've known
compare
to talk
scores
about
with?
It with.
Yeah, right. Man, I had some close games, man. I
also didn't feel like I was very good at it, but
really, I thought you were pretty good.
Yeah.
In fact, I thought you were damn good. Now give me 20. Get down on your knees and give me 20. Are you a sort of a pop culture junkie of sorts, or what? You are.
I'm a trivia hound first and foremost, but yeah, a lot of it is pop.
Okay,
culture.
so you're a trivia hound before you're a pop culture junkie.
I think so. And also,
what's the difference?
I just have this memory that I've had it my whole life, obviously, to where I can, if I've seen the trailer for something, I could kind of tell you what the movie is about, at least. And I don't ever have seen the movie. If I saw the trailer, I might still remember it and be able to tell you what it's about. That's nuts.
It's pretty nuts.
Well, when did you start getting into this kind of stuff?
I mean, early age, like in my like single digit age, like just I would see a trailer and I could recite the beats to it and tell you who, maybe not know the names of the people who are in it, but now I could certainly.
Did you
and write it down, and my dad would be like, "What the hell is this?" And I'd be like, "It's the Dick Tracy trailer." I don't know what to tell you.
Is it not just movies, but also music and TV and stuff?
It's still, games? I think, mostly movies because there is a visual component to it.
So music, you're not as into.
I'm into music certainly, but I don't
admit it if you don't like music. It's fine.
I don't keep up with it in a way that I do movies, like where I will see a new movie where
what kind of music do you like? Rollins Band?
No, I mean famously for
movie
those who
soundtracks.
Heard me on other things. I'm a huge Jimmy Eat World fan.
That's right. I remember that Jimmy Eat World. Okay, and did you? Okay, and what else? What other bands do you like?
Blink-182, Metallica.
Really, Blink-182?
Yeah, from my part of town. So yeah.
San Diego?
Yeah.
I always used to say
My first
Blink
concert.
187 on the Undercover Cop. You know, you guys listen to Blink 187 on the Undercover Cop. You ever see the movie 187?
I've not, but I have seen Turk 182.
Oh, I don't even know that one.
I think that's where they got the number from.
Oh, is that right?
There was another band called Blink, and they were also called Blink.
So do you know the movie? You don't know the movie 187? 187? Do you know who starred in it?
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L.
Again,
Jackson.
saw the trailer, saw the box somewhere.
I saw it. I saw it in the theater. It was
I assume there's murder. Pretty.
Yeah, there must be, I guess.
Confident.
Actually, to be honest, I kind of forgot, and I saw it in the theater, and
he's a teacher, isn't he?
He's a teacher.
Teacher?
Yeah, he's
like
a teacher.
Bad neighborhood.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, The Principal or something. You ever see The Principal with James Belushi?
Yep.
It's kind of like The Principal, but
I'm a big fan of The Substitute. Tom Berenger.
There's The Substitute with Tom Berenger. You know, and then you got these movies that have more sort of dramatic depth to them, like Stand and Deliver and Dangerous Minds. Yeah. All right. So
do you do trivia nights? Do you flex on that?
I used to do it a lot more when I was single, and I hosted trivia.
Oh yeah, you hosted.
Really?
I did know that. Yeah.
Where did you host?
Because you done the covers on guitars. You done that on the podcast.
Aaron Shitty covers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Those were left over. Yeah.
That's right. You did do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but for about a year, I hosted every first Monday at Verdugo Bar.
And because you were into Verdugo Bar. Oh.
And Glass
okay, because
Park,
yeah. No, I didn't know they had a trivia night there because there was a trivia night at the Red Lion.
Neither did anyone else.
Oh, really?
When I was hosting it, yeah, nobody really went.
Because I would do the Red Lion one in Silver Lake.
Yeah.
And I was doing that kind of fairly regularly at a certain point, you know.
Yeah, I was doing it. I was there every week, whether I was hosting or not.
Verdugo Bar?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Did you and being into, I don't know, movies and I don't know, maybe pop culture stuff, did you get into comedy because of that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely watched a ton of like when I would come home from school, Comedy Central would be my first go-to, and all those specials that came out around the premium blends and the half hours in 2000, you know, like Patton Oswalt, Attell, Jimmy Pardo.
Amazing Jonathan, maybe?
Amazing Jonathan's was amazing. It was great, you know, amazing, obviously. R.I.P. Amazing Jonathan. Greg Barrett, who's a friend of mine, like, yeah, all those, it's...
And then did you start going to comedy shows in San Diego and Los Angeles?
No, I didn't know where to go to see comedy in San Diego. It wasn't until I moved to LA.
And you started going to comedy shows. 07, you say?
Yeah, even then, I didn't really start going until podcasting.
Really?
So I started listening to podcasts, and then I started going to like Tiger Lily and.
Oh, what podcast were you listening to at first?
At first was like Kevin Smith and his whole Smodcast universe. I still listen to Tell 'Em Steve Dave, which is an offshoot of Kevin Smith's universe with the guys from Comic Book Men on AMC, how they're best well known. But yeah, then it was I don't know, I just kind of followed what I looked up what podcast has Paul F. Tompkins been on, or Doug Benson, and then I just kind of went from there and ended up with Walking the Room, which is Greg Barrett,
Comedy Death Ray,
Comedy Bang Bang,
which became Comedy Bang Bang. Yeah, anything Paul F. Tompkins does, I listen to.
Listening to these Paul F. Tompkins, or listening to these comedy podcasts, then you started going out to live shows.
Yeah.
And then how did you start?
I remember hearing you on Your Mom's House, and referring to you as B Weezy in my own head for no reason.
Oh, you mean Your Mom's House when it was really early on? Really early, yeah. Yeah, so it was within, it was their first, couple of years of that podcast. Yeah.
And then I worked with them here at ATC.
Oh, right, because they used to be on this, yeah. And then how did you get into being behind the boards?
Well, I had a day job. I was doing restoration, working on Breaking Bad, ironically.
Really?
Yeah, because they still shot it on film, and film picks up dirt and dust and scratches and stuff. So it would come through the lab that I worked at, and then get digitized, then come to me to clean it up, and then
hold on a second. How did you get into that job?
I literally just when I moved to LA, I moved right at the writer's strike of 07. I moved like 2 weeks before that, so it was hard to find a job. And then a buddy of mine worked at Fox and said like, "Hey, they're hiring if I can send your resume over." And so I did, and I worked in will call, which is where you drop off all your films and pick up your tapes afterward, or pick up the film. I didn't meet, but like I saw Ryan Gosling there, Stevie Wonder, Robert Townsend, Crispin Glover, David Lynch, all these guys.
Oh wow!
Would come through.
And they were doing what? They were dropping stuff off,
picking up film, dropping film off.
Really?
Going to the other building where they would do their video transfers and their color correction and stuff.
And you met all of them, and you were giving their film to them and stuff.
Yeah, either helping them or just seeing them around.
Did you have any background in this sort of world before this?
I went to film school, so yeah.
You did? Yeah. You went to film school?
Yeah, at San Diego State, yeah.
What did you focus on there?
Directing and writing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get a job there, and you're doing this stuff, and then
I just advanced. They basically created a department, and they needed to fill it, and so I applied and
so you're doing restoration,
mm-hmm.
And then what?
For like 5 years, and then the studios invariably, in an effort to save money, and I say this with no hesitation, Disney stopped paying. They just wouldn't pay us for the jobs we would do, and they started shipping stuff overseas, getting that stuff done. They were literally like FedExing hard drives overseas rather than just giving us the work 2 blocks from their building. And then so eventually the company got so strapped and the department got so strapped that that I was laid off. But while I was doing that job, that was like 8 to 5 every day. I did some stand-up there in 2011.
You did stand-up comedy?
Stand-up, yeah, I did about a half dozen times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What were you doing material about? Cleaning up?
No, I didn't talk about work.
Cleaning up film?
You talk about family.
What was me interacting with Crispin Glover,
No, it is a weird... He drove a really ostentatious car, which I've always thought is so funny. Like
what did you drive, a hearse or something like that?
It was like I think it must have been a Corvette, but I at the time mistook it for a Cadillac convertible, but it was a Corvette for sure.
Hold on, let me
purple.
Let me go back to this other thing real quick.
Yeah.
You're telling me Stevie Wonder was picking up film?
He came in to listen to a 5.1 mix of a concert he'd done for DVD.
Okay.
And what sucks is he drove all the way in from wherever he lives. He didn't drive. Someone drove him in from wherever he lives. And it was a 2.0 mix of it. So he came for nothing.
I was just wondering if he was getting into photography or, something behind the camera. And I thought, well, that's an interesting angle for him to tackle.
The crazy thing is we were all abuzz. He had just done Obama's inauguration. So we were all abuzz in the office. Like, Stevie Wonder just played on Obama's inauguration. Now he's here. It's amazing. So we're all gathered around watching him leave. We got his music on in the background, hoping he'll hear it, come over and talk to us. He didn't. But then we watch him walk out to a car with a woman who's helping him, down the steps and all this stuff. And then he opened the door for her, which I always thought is amazing. Like, he cannot see, and he's still a gentleman, which is really cool.
That's cool.
Allegedly.
I saw him do it. So whether or not he's a gentleman in other ways, I don't know.
He's saying allegedly that he's blind. He's saying.
Yeah, I was just joking.
Oh, I'm sure there's a conspiracy for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't realize.
Words
a lot of people say, "Oh, he can see." Well, a lot of blind people can. They can sort of. They can. There's blurry. They can detect light. And they can sense presences. So
I don't know if you've seen him without his sunglasses. I don't know that that's true. It's real weird.
I have seen the picture. I did a quiz on somebody once. I said, "Who do you think this is?" Because he looks really different when you see him without glasses. Mm-hmm. But there's there's a certain amount of what do you call it? There's a point at which there's some people who are considered blind who can still see.
Yeah.
And there's just a certain degree at which your vision is impaired that you're considered blind. So,
Roy Orbison, not blind.
Right. And Yoko Ono
Fun
sometimes not blind either. But then there's, I mean, look, if you have don't have eyeballs, I mean, you're not seeing anything at all, you know?
Fair.
But I think if there's eyeballs there might be some detection of something, some light. You can maybe see light. You're not seeing anything really, but you're seeing something. I don't know. There's just varying degrees of blindness. There's a whole spectrum of blindness, right?
Sure, yeah.
So,
I would hate to have eyes and be blind. Eyes that didn't work, because then it's like you get the itchiness when you get around something allergic. You get the dryness, but you don't get any of the fun.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that, but you know what, man? I just wouldn't want to be blind at all. I love seeing stuff.
Yeah.
I love the privilege of vision.
Sure.
It's just,
I do not take it for granted.
I love seeing, I love seeing I love seeing the figures of stuff, and colors and
sure.
And I like seeing. I like seeing those curves on those women, those women that are, they got women now, right?
Yeah.
The world has women now, and they've got these curves, and you can't really, I mean, you can't touch them. You can't touch them, so all you have is to see them, I mean, that's all you've got.
Can touch one. Yeah.
Well, look,
sometimes.
we're not all in such positions like that, but, and then and not to mention the penises, man. I mean, you can't, the penises are hilarious, and
that's true.
I mean, you're not going to touch those, and
unless you want to.
You could. I mean, I wonder if a penis is as funny by touch as it is by vision. Like, do you think a penis is funny to feel? Because penises do look funny.
On my own, I don't know.
Penises do look funny, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And, I mean, that's a classic gag, right? But then I wonder if it's funny to touch it. Does it feel funny? I don't know.
I don't know.
It could be. I guess it could be. If you touch I think the balls feel funny.
I'd assume.
And then what about smell? Do penises smell funny? That's whole nother world to explore, But I bet, pretty much everybody's butt smells kind of not funny. It smells maybe it smells funny in that it smells odd. Yeah. But anyway, so you are laid off from your restoration job,
well,
and then
while I was doing that job, I had a friend who was working with Sam Tripoli on the Naughty Show podcast, and they were on ATC in the early going, that they were like one of the first shows, and they were looking for
I didn't know
interns.
They had a podcast. I know they had a live show where they would have stand-up comedians, and then there would be pornographic adult actresses who would come and get interviewed on live at the Improv.
Yeah. So that became the podcast. And so she said, ATC is looking for interns. And I was like, oh, I can do that as long as it doesn't interfere with my day job. And it didn't. So at night I would go home and basically populate the website with tour dates for Tom Segura and Harlan Williams. And
wait, populate what's website? Oh, the All Things Comedy.
All Things Comedy, yeah. allthingscomedy.com, which still exists. Don't rely on it for anything. But yeah. So I would go there and do that. And then after I got laid off, it was like 8 months of trying to find another film job. And I just emailed Al Madrigal because I had his email. I was like, hey, I'm available and I've got skills. Do you need me? And I was in the studio the next day, and I've been here 10 and a half years.
But did you have a background in sound engineering stuff?
No, not particularly. I'd had production classes.
Production classes. You were kind of tech savvy enough to sort of know how things worked, and it's not probably too complicated, I guess. It's just plugging in stuff.
I mean, I'm still learning to this day, but I'd had enough experience with it because during my film projects, I would just kind of invariably take that part of it. As well as whatever else I was doing, because I'm just particular about sound.
Yeah.
So
And is that so? Okay,
and then all the TV directing portion of it too, the live TV cutting aspect that I do and have been doing,
right?
Came directly from my TV production classes.
And so, do you? Is this sort of what you envisioned yourself doing? I mean, is this?
No,
I mean,
it sounds
like this was obviously this is you kind of fell into this, I guess, in a way.
In a way, yeah. I mean, it's very much that's what you have to do in this town is kind of be ready to go where it takes you.
Go where no man has gone before.
Yeah.
Space.
Go nuts. Go crazy. Go Nads.
Go Nads, yeah.
Nads. But just, this town, you can, if you only try to do one thing and you don't get that, you can feel miserable.
This town will chew you up and spit you out.
Yeah.
So you gotta go in head first and let it eat you.
It's a man eater.
You gotta eat the town. Jimmy has to eat world. You eat the town, Jimmy eats world.
Jimmy eats world. Yeah. So it was just kind of going with the flow of everything, and
And then did you ended up, I guess I take it, enjoying doing what you're doing? Right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Working with comedians every day is great. You laugh all the time. I think it's good for the heart and all that stuff. And my anxiety to like let some people take the reins and laugh with them. And
do you get also burnt out on hearing people be funny, or
sure.
Is it harder?
I don't have my own thoughts anymore. I've got all your voices in my head.
Uh-huh.
That's what I like to say. It's true.
Do you hear people's voices in your head? I mean, comedians' voices in your head. Podcasters.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes
you do.
Absolutely, yeah.
You just hear their voices in your head.
Oh yeah.
Well, I wonder, I imagine that people who listen to podcasts in a very dedicated way, if they're listening they don't even have to be working in the way that your capacity, but just listeners, they probably, if they're listening to a podcast enough, they probably, hear, I mean, how many episodes are there? I mean, there's in the thousands of Joe Rogan Experience podcasts.
Yeah.
They're probably hearing Joe Rogan's voice in their head at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
And then you pick up the catchphrases and you start saying them in your real life.
Is that right?
What you're talking about.
Okay. Let me ask you that. So you start just using expressions from other comedians.
Oh my God. Your mom's house was legendary for that for me. Like the audio drops they would play. I would start saying them in conversation and people would be like, what are you talking about? Not as offended as I just made it sound, but like,
what's an example?
I can't even think of them now, but I know that's what I was doing at the time. Just
are there any expressions that I've used?
Doug's drops.
Oh yeah, like which ones?
I don't know, just those things.
What about not just
because they get repeated so often? They would get stuck in my head.
What about not just the sound bites, but things that I guess new isms of, say, me, for example? Are there things that I say or the way I say things that have found their way into your mind and in the way you express yourself sometimes?
I'm sure they have. I just can't think of specific examples.
I've said sure before, so you just did it just now. I've said the word sure, so I think you just did it.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in particular
I also know your ad copy, like front to back, like the vegan jerky.
Oh yeah.
But now I don't, since I haven't heard it in a while. But
yeah.
Louisville vegan jerky.
Yeah. What's the website?
lvjco.com.
There you go. You got it.
Shelf life of
9 months.
There you go.
I mean, it's just it goes along with my brain of the trivia and the just being able to recall all that stuff. It's right there. It's always...
I mean, Jack, for you, editing the episodes and stuff. Yeah. Do you? Well, it's not that anymore, actually. Because have you, Jack? Is that similar for you?
For sure. Yeah, I can totally relate to that.
Yeah. What are you hearing in your head?
Just, I can definitely hear your voices in my head for sure. That's a totally relatable thing. Uh-huh. And then you maybe just pick up on things that you're talking about, and then they end up in your everyday life. Backpack was one of them for sure.
Oh, backpack.
Yeah, backpack is one for sure.
You say backpack now like that?
Yeah, like that.
Or just I will be talking to my wife at night, and I'll just be like, I don't know if I had this conversation with someone or I heard it on the podcast, or I was recording a podcast where they talked about it.
Right.
Yeah. I'm bringing this up, and it's just like, I didn't even have these thoughts. You guys did. But
right.
Me.
You get confused about that.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Do you feel kind of like it makes you go a little crazy in a way?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I won't get into this now, but maybe an Unzipped. I'm kind of want to hear about, I don't know, maybe ways in which you don't, some of the maybe things that you've experienced that you don't love as much as, or something like that.
Sure. Yeah. I have a few examples, but yeah, I don't want to blast anybody, but yeah.
Right. No, but you know what?
But I have had experiences.
We can keep it, we'll keep it private.
Yeah.
We'll keep it safe. And if you want to blast a little bit, we might be able to make that happen. So is your wife similar to you? I mean, does she listen to, she's into comedy and stuff?
She didn't start listening to podcasts until about 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, she would not touch them.
What was the one that made her, get into
crack? What made her crack?
I mean, she literally came home like 9 months ago and was like, "Have you ever heard of This American Life?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah."
I mean, that's not even a podcast, but
I mean, it they put it out in a podcast form.
Oh, it is now. Okay,
has been for
okay,
probably a dozen years, but yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think honestly, I think it was partly like the pandemic rewatch shows that popped up. Stars of shows from yesteryear watching their shows and going over them. So she's like huge on the 90210 rewatch that Tori Spelling and Jenny Garth do. So
they do a podcast where
my wife's been on the podcast.
Wait, really? How so? What's that all about?
They asked for fans to come on as guests.
Really?
For an episode, yeah. And so
how did she get picked?
I mean, it did help. My brother-in-law went to college with their producer, so
Aaron Spelling.
Okay.
No, the producer of the podcast, not the.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I was in school, there was a kid in our class whose mom worked for Spelling Entertainment, and he said, and apologies to people. I know I've said this probably. I've told this already a few times, and maybe you guys already know this too. Do you guys know where I'm going with this?
It's not ringing a bell.
Well, anyway, he kind of told the class, "I can get you any headshot of any actor signed," because he had a connection because of because of Spelling Entertainment or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so we all picked different celebrities to get an autographed headshot or whatever. And
who'd you get?
A lot of the girls were getting Julia Roberts, and then
a
lot of the guys were getting Schwarzenegger or Stallone.
So he meant any, not just spelling verse.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
Not just spelling verse. Anybody in show business, basically.
I mean, most people you could send a letter to a studio and
right. Yeah, it's probably not that big
which would be crazy if he was doing that.
Yeah.
It's a scam. But I know all these people, and then he's just mailing.
Right. I was trying to decide between Rick Moranis and Bob Saget.
Ooh.
And I ended up going with Rick Moranis, but I actually
Saget, please.
I wish I picked Saget, to be honest. I mean, I think I'm more. I think he's probably more of an influence than Moranis for me.
Moranis is a harder get because Bob was around,
right? And Moranis was, kind of. Does he? He's not back. He never came back, I guess, right? He just focused on raising his kids, and that's it.
Yeah, his wife passed away, and he focused on raising his kids.
Yeah, and he never came back. Yeah, but and also it wasn't a headshot; it was just a still from a movie, and it was signed, but
what?
I don't know by who. I don't know if it was signed by who, the kid who promised them all, or if it was signed.
What movie was it?
Moranis, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, great.
But Saget, though, I mean, I realize now I wish I could. I want to be Saget. I want to be the dad on a family sitcom, and
sure.
and I kind of feel like I kind of feel a connection to his character in Full House. Even
Mm-hmm.
I'm about being clean and stuff.
Sure. Did you ever meet Bob?
I met him. I think I met him. Yeah, I met him maybe just once or twice. One of them was a long time ago. My friend Ryan Stout was opening for him at the Warfield in San Francisco, and I went to the show and met him backstage and stuff. And then I think I might have met him at the Laugh Factory once. I rarely go to the Laugh Factory, but I was doing a show there, and I think he was on the show also, maybe, and John Stamos was there too, I think. Or I'm confusing it, and John Stamos was there, but it was for somebody else that wasn't Bob Saget, But I'm.
Coulier?
Oh no, I have not met at all, actually. But I would be down.
Like he moved away. Really? I don't think he lived in L.A.
After the whole, after the whole Alanis Morissette blow up, I think he kind of probably had to go back to Canada or something like that. But no, but he, Dave Coulier. I mean, look, Dave Coulier was my favorite cast member at first for Full House, but then it shifted to Bob Saget, and I realized, oh, that's my guy, actually. Yeah. But come to think of it, I don't think I met Saget the second time. I think it was just the one time I met him. Yeah, so and he didn't. And who cares? I don't really care about meeting people. I like it more if they somehow catch wind of what I do or something, and there's some sort of somewhat mutual thing going on. Because I just feel like they meet tons of people all the time. I don't know. I always wanted to meet Michael Jackson. I knew that he went to the Laugh Factory at one point, and I was I wanted to get in. Oh, famously, he went to the Laugh
court
Factory.
Proceedings.
Oh, was it?
They did fundraisers for one of his, I'll just say, alleged victims.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
And then Jackson went to it?
Oh, well, actually, Jackson saw it on the news, the local news, and then started calling the hospital where that child was.
Well, I just know that Jackson he did go to the Laugh Factory. Mm. And I just thought, I got to get in at the Laugh Factory, man. I want to perform for Jackson. And you told me that there's a Michael Jackson movie coming out soon.
There's a biopic coming, directed by Antoine Fuqua.
Okay. Antoine Fuqua, he did Training Day.
Training Day. And Tears of the Sun. I don't know if anyone cares about that.
He wrote something, too, that was... whatever.
Yeah, and he's done a bunch of stuff.
Wasn't he involved in that movie, The Tax Collector, where Shia LaBeouf plays a cholo or something like that?
I don't know. I think he got a legit chest piece tattoo for real.
Who? LaBeouf?
LaBeouf, yeah.
Yeah, for that.
That's crazy.
The Collector.
That's bananas, yeah.
He did get some kind of chest piece, yeah.
Full chest tattoo.
Shia LaBeouf, if you ever hear him in interviews now, he talks different than when he was younger. He's the one thing I know right now is I know acting, and that's just pure acting right there. That's how he talks now. He's kind of got this buff, kind of almost, I don't know, cholo-y kind of way about him now. Well, the thing is, I told the community, the one thing I could do is I could teach acting. So I went down there and I told the other guys, that's what we're gonna do. We'll start some acting classes, and that's just acting right there. And that's pretty much that's pretty much how Shia LaBeouf talks right now. Is he just talks like that right there?
That famous Burbank accent.
I wonder if in the Michael Jackson biopic, it's going to be two different actors to play the black Michael Jackson and the white Michael Jackson.
There's definitely a younger Michael Jackson, and there is older.
Well, they're going to get David Allen Greer to play the early version, and then Tommy Davison to play the later version. No, that's how it was in Living Color. They had that. David Allen Greer played the original Jackson, and then.
It's actually going to be played by Jermaine's son, Jafar.
Oh, interesting.
Really?
Yeah, he's playing Michael.
Really? That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
So they're getting a Jackson to play Jackson.
Yeah.
To play him at what phase?
I think as an adult.
As an adult? Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder how much he looks like him.
Yeah, I don't know. There was no photo attached.
You almost said it like this. Yeah, no, I don't know. It almost sounded almost for a second. Watch, replay it. Listen to whether Aaron said, yeah, it was kind of hype. He almost went into the Jackson territory. He went, yeah. And then you went regular, but then you could have kept going, I don't really know what it was. I just know that Jafar is going to be playing me in the new biopic about me. And
I was at the Laugh Factory. I love to laugh.
Oh, I love watching all the comedians. They're so hilarious. I was there. I saw Bob Saget. He was so funny. I used to watch him on Full House, but I didn't know he was so dirty.
Allegedly, Bubbles is going to make a cameo. I don't know how that's possible.
The original Bubbles.
Bubbles is alive.
Bubbles
is
alive.
42 years old. Bubbles is my age.
That is great.
Living in Florida.
You could have been Bubbles. You could have been Bubbles.
I could have been Bubbles.
What? Who owns Bubbles now?
He is at the Center for Great Apes in Florida.
Oh, he's at a center with other apes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. With a bunch of other formerly owned or television.
Famous? Are they all celebrity apes?
I don't know that all of them are.
Is Bonzo there?
No, I don't know.
You guys know Bonzo?
I don't know who Bonzo is.
Bedtime for Bonzo. He's probably got to be dead at this point, but it's a Ronald Reagan movie.
Oh, yeah.
Bedtime for Bonzo, and it's and then there's Bringing Up Baby too. What about Baby?
I assume long gone.
Probably. I
think they only live to about 50. So.
Oh, is that right? So Bubbles is kind of in his twilight years. Oh, yeah. Wow. We got it. You know what? I never got to meet Michael, but maybe I can meet Bubbles as a consolation. I got to go out there before he's gone.
Absolutely. Can.
Before that bubble pops, I got to go find him. Yeah, man. Well, look. How about this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we wrap things up right now?
Sure.
And we'll go into Unzipped, and then we're going to get into some dirty, dark secrets, some ATC secrets. And maybe talk a little more about Michael J. And
I've got something we can maybe get into as well. Something kind of fun.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
And so, look, if you want to continue on with us, you can go to patreon.com/Poundcast. You get the episodes 2 days early. You also get extended episodes, okay? And it's a lot of fun, and you're gonna love it. You can kind of connect with other people there, and bond on a common interest.
Wait till you hear what they cut out of this one.
And what?
Wait till you hear what they cut out of this episode.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it. And if you want to watch the show, you can watch it on YouTube, youtube.com/thepoundcast. Now, okay, I mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, but I want to reiterate this in case anybody skips the intros, and I don't blame you. The name of the podcast is changing to the Brent Weinbach Podcast. Okay, so it's just going to be this episode and then next week's episode, which is going to be with Doug, that will be the last episode with the name, the Poundcast, but it will be changing. But it's not the end of the podcast. The podcast is going to continue on, and it's just changing the name. That's all it is. But because we're changing the name, it's a new YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Brent Weinbach Podcast. Okay. There's nothing posted there yet, and there won't be until June 27th, I think. But there's that. The Patreon remains the same, okay? So it's that easy. Nobody on Patreon needs to worry about it. It's just go about your business, okay? It's the same thing. But there will be a new feed, so wherever you get this podcast, if you do audio only, just look for Brent Weinbach Podcast on June 27th. But anyway, as for now, everything is Poundcast. I think there'll probably be an Instagram account too. Probably Brent Weinbach Podcast, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? And anyway, whatever. But I'm just giving you a heads up a few weeks in advance so you know what's going on, or a couple weeks in advance. Now,
you down with BWP? Yeah, you know me.
That's right. You know the song. You know how the song goes. and you know, the Poundcast episodes will live on in prosperity or posterity, and hopefully prosperity. You know, let's get those views up. You know, on you know the Poundcast YouTube channel and whatever. Okay. So yeah. Now, Aaron, is there anything you want to plug or push or anything?
I don't know if you want to follow me on Instagram. It's at Aaron Brungardt. I'm not going to spell that. Just figure it out.
It's easy to find, guys. You just
Google. I'm the only one out there. There's literally no one else. There's one guy.
Easy. Just Google ATC.
There's one
Aaron
guy
Brungardt.
in Kansas, but you know, we're probably
he don't count.
He doesn't really post. He's got the Gmail though. It's really annoying. Yeah, and then listen to All Things Comedy podcasts. I mean, what the hell? We've got a lot of them. There's got to be something for you.
Yeah. Listen to the Poundcast. Or listen to Brent Weinbach podcast. You know. Yeah. And Jack, is there anything you want to push?
No, I'm good. Just keep on listening to these podcasts.
Yeah. Okay. Well, did you say these? Yeah. And it's the same thing. It's the same podcast, guys. We're just, to avoid confusion, we're just making the new name. Okay, it's the same podcast. Don't worry about it. Don't feel like, oh, this is ending or whatever. It's not ending. Okay. Well, thank you to Aaron Brungardt.
I'm honored
for
to be
being our guest.
Penultimate.
Yeah.
Poundcast.
Again, it's not penultimate.
Poundcast.
It's just before the name change. You know. Oh shoot! I forgot to turn off this thing here. Oh, I'm gonna just. Sorry, let me just get rid of that. And anyway, I'm Brent Weinbach. Thanks for listening. Tune in next week. Doug will be here, and that's it. We'll see you in just a little bit in Unzipped, or we'll see you next week. It's the Poundcast. Bye-bye.